Born King. Hello and welcome into the Bro Force Squad podcast. We are here with our non-spoilers review for the newly released King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. I'm your host, Jeff Hornacek. Let's go around the non-round table, but just a normal square, maybe a rectangle. It's a parallelogram table to my good friend, Brian Pendragon. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's just like a kitchen table.
And I called you like Pendragon. I know Pendragon is your Londinium name. Do you still prefer Brian Banner, or are we just going to refer to you as that from now on?
Look, dragons are cool for me, so we can go Pendragon tonight.
All right. Good enough. Guys, if you have not listened to any of our reviews before, thank you for checking us out. We're just a couple bros who like superheroes, movies, and superhero movies. Again, this is a non-spoiler review, but we usually break movies down into 5 categories: the acting and cast, the story and the plot, best scene, impact or lasting effect on pop culture, and rewatchability. We're not going to spoil anything for you today again, so we're going to cut out the best scene portion. And the story part, obviously, we will not tell you what happens, but just what we think about the story. So, Brian, let's get right into it. What did you think about the cast that Guy Ritchie put together for King Arthur, Legend of the Sword?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Charlie Hunnam did absolutely amazing. Not being a fan of Sons of Anarchy at all because I haven't seen it, I can see why people gravitate towards this guy. He was jacked. He was awesome. I bought everything that he was putting down. Eric Bana has a relatively small role, but a relatively big role in the movie. And again, I bought it. He was awesome, as usual. Everybody else absolutely killed it. A lot of people I recognize, but I don't necessarily know who they are. But they were very, very good. What about you?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Hunnam is one of those guys who's turned down a lot of, or been rumored to be attached to a lot of big kind of tentpole properties in the past. So something about this that made him jump and say, hey, I want to work with Guy Ritchie, had me intrigued. And I did buy him as King Arthur, kind of a younger incarnation than I think we've typically seen before. Jude Law obviously reuniting with Guy Ritchie from the Sherlock Holmes movies as Vortigern in this. He was a little bit over the top in some areas, but I think it's tough to do an antagonist. Like, he's just such a... Again, we can't spoil anything. He's such a bad person that sometimes you're like, dude, are you even like a real individual? Like, who acts like this?
But, yeah, and I'll piggyback off that a little bit. Jude Law's character, what he was asked to do with that character, I think he did as well as he could do. It's a very tough role to play. But it worked somehow.
Yeah, it was good for me. And Charlie Hunnam, I was a little worried that maybe he would be miscast or maybe he didn't have the acting chops we thought he did. But like you said, he held his own in this. So I was pretty pleased with it there. On to the story and the plot. I'll let you go first on this one.
I absolutely loved it. So, little background on me. I know nothing about King Arthur. Know nothing about Knights at the Round Table. Know nothing about Merlin. I don't know anything about any of that. I understood this movie. They did a very good job of keeping those people like me that don't understand and don't know this stuff going into the movie up to date and what's going on. I also liked they added a decent amount of comedy. Enough comedy to where you have the magic and you have all kind of that weird out there stuff, but the comedy brings you back home and it keeps it kind of centered and level and mellow, which I really, really thought was really, really good. Going into this, I didn't think I was going to like it based on the trailers. Terrible marketing.
It was very mismarketed, right? It was like, what the fuck is this movie?
It was a really, really good movie, and a really story, and go see it because you don't know anything about magic or about Merlin or any of that stuff going in. I knew nothing about it, and I understood everything that they talked about. They did a very, very good job at explaining what was going on, but not just telling me what was going on.
Yeah, this is a Guy Ritchie movie through and through. So I think it was mismarketed. It almost came across as like this really gritty, kind of like slummy King Arthur movie. It still has that Guy Ritchie sensibility where it's like, we don't take ourselves too seriously. You know, like he has fun in all his movies. And like you said, his kind of his one of his like sort of visual staples is that exposition the characters give while it sort of shows what they're explaining, but in like real like quick cut fashion where it's not like some exposition like George Lucas. It just beats you over the head. Like, do you get it? Do you understand the story now? And that's not how this is done. I know that it's kind of like his trope, and people kind of roll their eyes at it because he does it in every one of his movies. But I think it played well here, and I was kind of like you. I was just really, oh, this is happening in a King Arthur movie because I did not get that sense from the trailers that they were going to have this much fun, which was a fun surprise for me.
Yeah.
All right, next one, impact or any effect you had afterwards. I'll just continue the sort of the tone that we had. I was very pleasantly surprised, and as far as an impact on pop culture, I was pleasantly surprised at the levity that Guy Ritchie inserted in this movie. I don't know, and am still skeptical if this is going to do the numbers at the box office that it needs to have the legs to spawn a franchise. I think it's a good movie, but in this summer and this year, particularly for movies, it's going to get a little drawn out. But I do think if you're listening to this review wondering if it's worth spending the money to go see, I don't think you'll regret it. But as far as an impact on pop culture, I don't think you and I are going to be sitting here in 5 years saying, all right, King Arthur 3 is coming out. Let's get ready to do our review on it. What did you think?
I agree with you 100%. Guys, give this a shot. It's a good movie. I think this is honestly, of the whole year, this is probably the best weekend for it to come out. There's not a whole lot else happening. But again, with the 2017 being the juggernaut that it is going to get lost. But I think it's going to get at least one more movie. I really do. I think it was that good. I don't know that it, like you said, I don't know that it can get a franchise, but I think it can definitely get a sequel.
Yeah, and I think what it's really going to come down to is because Guy Ritchie has his toes in kind of like every pool. Is he going to come back? Because I think what made this movie work for me was that it felt more like a Guy Ritchie movie and less like a really serious approach on King Arthur. We all saw the Ridley Scott Robin Hood with Russell Crowe that just makes you want to gouge your fucking eyes out halfway through because it's like, okay, we get it. You take yourself seriously. This was kind of the opposite side of the coin to that. So like you said, I hope we get another movie. I think that'd be kind of a nice success story considering how poorly marketed this thing was, which is kind of a shame. Last one kind of piggybacks right into that, rewatchability. I'm guessing we're probably not going to spend money on this again in theaters, but is this something you'll consider buying, or if it's on TV again, you're going to give it a shot? You're going to give it maybe an hour of your time?
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it again. If it's on TV, I'll watch it through commercials and watch it to the end. I'll be honest with you. I really liked it. Definitely won't go see it in theaters again, but I might consider buying it, like maybe in like a year and a half if it's on like the clearance rack. Yeah, I'll definitely pick it up. And like I said, if it's on, FX and Spike are our two like go-to channels.
This is such an FX movie.
It is 100% an FX movie. I will say this, which this probably should go back into story and plot, but the first 10 minutes, just hang in there.
Yeah.
Because the first 10 minutes were really, really rough. I had no idea what was going on.
Especially if you're not a fan of elephants. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Then, after that first 10 minutes, all right, I understand what's going on. That's kind of where the movie started for me. Just, I'm telling you, if you're going to go see it, hang in there for the first 10 minutes. Where are you as far as rewatchability with this, though?
No, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'm definitely not going to see it in theaters again, but to be honest, that's not an indictment. I don't fucking pay for many movies twice in theaters. I'm probably not going to buy it on Blu-ray, but this is a movie when it's on FX. It's not like appointment viewing. I'm not like, all right, guys, let's schedule our night around when King Arthur comes on, but I'll definitely turn it on and probably leave the channel there. It was a fun movie. Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. All right, guys, that does it for these two nights at the Rectangle Table. For the mad scientist Brian Banner in his lab, I am Jeff Hornacek. We have been the Bro4 Squad. Thanks for checking us out. Go to our website, bro4squad.com. You can find all our stuff there. Follow us on Twitter, @Bro4Squad. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube to catch everything we're putting out. Bro4 Squad, 3 words. And give us a like on Facebook, Bro4 Squad Podcast. Till next time, we're going to start fighting with swords. Ching, ching, ching!
I love